Yo, what's up guys, Unisex here, and today I'm going to be going through my Hive usual week 1 match vs Mississauga Weezings aka Daniel. So as you can see on the right, his team consists of some pretty nasty semi-saw, and just so you know, the blue for he's trying to status C moves and the red or the pink is for regular C moves. So up on the left we have the team that I built for facing this team. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first one I have is Megalopony. It pressured most of its mons decently well, and it was pretty solid bring overall, especially to check the Heatran or stuff. He has a solid switching and Clefable, but like I ran Encore, so like I can potentially lock him into something of soft boiled. I have enough speed for Jolly Dugtrio. I could have ran Adamant, but I did not want to get trapped by Dugtrio, so I ran Jolly. No stab. I didn't need any coverage this match, so I just brought Power Up Punch because Power Up Punch can potentially beat Magic Guard Clefable if he brings that. So the next one we have is Charty Berry Togekiss with Thunder Wave, Nasty Plot, or Slash and Roost. So this one actually does a lot with this team. Thunder Wave Charty is for the Mega Aerodactyl, and Nasty Plot can set up on stuff such as Moongus and Clefable, and we can just flinch everything down. The only remotely certain thing to this Togekiss is the Heatran, and I don't have a coverage for it. However, I did expect Scarf Heatran, so I was thinking if I can catch it with a Thunder Wave on the switch, then that thing would be good as dead. So I ran max special attack, and I think the speed was the outspeed paralyzed Aerodactyl. So yeah, so that means because of the power nerf this gen, if I didn't have that much speed, Aerodactyl will still outspeed me if he's paralyzed. So yeah. I think I just slapped the reps in HP, so yeah, Roost is for reliable recovery. The next one we have is Teeter. We have Shed Shell, so we don't get trapped by the trio. Taunt and Screech, the combination of these two moves is so that I don't lose to Pokemon such as Clefable and Moongus, because I do have quite a lot of Spit F, so Tank Moonblast is really well from Clefable, and if I can get a Screech off, then I can pretty much just force him to switch. And his rock resist is only really Dugtrio and Machamp, and I'm assuming he doesn't want to get Dugtrio weakened. Machamp is his only switching, which is why I ran Aerial Ace as well. Aerial Ace does about 31 to 44%, and at -2 was residual damage such as rocks and whatnot. It actually has a really good chance to kill. I believe the EVs, I'm pretty sure the defense is allows me to tank 2 Jolly Mega Aerodactyl's Earthquakes, and I put the rest in Split F and HP to be able to tank hits better from Heatran and Fable. So Shed Shell is that so I don't get beaten by the trio 1v1. Nothing really special except for Screech on this set. I feel like Screech is actually a really cool tech, so I beat Clefable and Moongus 1v1. So yeah. Next one we have is Cobra Gengar. It might seem weird to have Cobra vs this team, because there's the only really mon that's gonna use a dark type move against it is probably like Machamp with knockoff, but like Heavy Slam destroys this thing anyway, which I expected him to bring. But the reason I brought Cobra is so that I don't have to risk a potential 50-50 risk to Dugtrio, because as you all know, Dugtrio doesn't trap ghosts, so he will most likely run Pursuit on this Dugtrio. So if I can stay in on the Pursuit and then kill the Dugtrio with a Shadow Ball, then that would actually be really good. I have Shadow Ball, Sludge Wave, Ghost Stab, nothing to really hit Heatran, but I have Destiny Bond, so I can beat stuff such as Machamp, and Taunt, so I can prevent a Moongus from sporing and Clefable from setting up. I'm expecting Kebia Clefable. I expect the Kebia Clefable, Scarf Tran, AV Machamp, AV Gudra, Mega Aerodactyl, and last one Gudra, and yeah, that's pretty much the thing I expected. I think the speed is to outspeed Tran, and I'm able to run Modest because of speed tiers. Like, there's really nothing on this team that's fast except from regular Aerodactyl, so Modest for max damage output. I put rest in HP so that I can tap maybe like a few Moonblast from Clefable or whatnot. Alright, yeah, so the next one we have here is Haxorus. I have a max speed, max HP Haxorus with Adamant nature. I run Adamant over Jolly because max speed with Adamant ensures that I outspeed Mega Aerodactyl at +1. This actually ended up biting me in the butt though, because I actually got revenge by Scarf the Trio because I didn't run Jolly. To be fair, I did not expect him just to only creep Modest Gengar, but yeah. I ran DD, EQ, Z, Iron Tail, and Dragon Claw, so I could have ran Z Poison Jab, but I liked Z Iron Tail better because it has the potential to kill Aerodactyl as well. And one thing about this Pokemon is that I was actually debating between Mold Breaker and Unnerve, because Mold Breaker allows me to break Unaware on Clefable. However, Unnerve allows me to break Magic Guard variants if they're carrying something such as a Babiri or a Kibia. So I was actually debating that for quite a while, but in the end, I decided to go for the Mold Breaker because I did not expect him to bring a Berry on Clefable. This team is extremely Lopunny weak, and without leftovers on Clefable, it's really hard to deal with Lopunny in my opinion because return does like 36 to 44. So without leftovers recovery after a little chip, you're pretty much 2-hit KO'd by Lopunny, which in that case his only revenge Pokemon is Mega Aerodactyl, and he loses a mon every time Lopunny comes in. So I brought Mold Breaker over Unnerve. It actually really didn't matter that much in the match. But yeah, so I brought Stadium Z. I Adamant Stadium Z Haxorus at +0 actually has a 60% chance to kill a Clefable max defense bullet at max, which is absolutely ridiculous. I think it does like a 96 to 105. I did the count before, which is also another reason I ran Adamant. So the last one is Registeel. So I was actually debating of this slot a lot. So first Pokemon that I originally had was Celebi. Then I had a Priori form Meloetta, and then the mon that I finally settled on is a Registeel, because without Registeel my team auto loses to Mega Aerodactyl, which is not something I want. I have Shuka here so I can potentially counter the Aerodactyl if he tries to EQ me. I have Rocks, which I absolutely need. Originally I had Rocks on T-Tar and I had nothing to touch Machamp, so I moved Rocks to Registeel, which is actually a good idea. Iron Head beats Mega Aerodactyl, Clefable, and not EQ to hit Heatran and counter, so that counter is just a cool move. I was debating between Toxic, Thunder Wave, and counter. I decided in counter maybe can come in useful and maybe trap the Trio, or not trap. But like beat the Trio 1v1. So yeah, overall I feel like it was a pretty solid team. I definitely had the tools to win. And let's get straight into the match. So, alright, as you can see, Daniel brought Heatran, Mega Aerodactyl, Fable, Meowstic, the Trio, and Goofda. No Machamp, which is really surprising considering I really did not have a Machamp switch in, or a reliable one at that. So, really surprised to see Meowstic, so I expected Prankster, T-Wave, Dual Screens, and then Psychic upon team preview. I decided to lead off with Tyranitar because it beats the Gudra, it beats the Fable, it beats the Aerodactyl, it beats the Heatran. Gudra I have to scout remove, but like I didn't expect him to beat Gudra. The only thing it loses to is the Trio, which I have Shed Shell for anyways. So Meowstic also gets beaten. And Moonblast literally does 30, not even 30 to me. So yeah. I decided to lead off with my Tyranitar as he leads off with his Fable. I just decided to go for the taunt straight away to prevent him from setting up rocks, because the fact that he led with it made me think that he might be rocks, or he might want to just start setting up stuff such as Calm Mind or Cosmic Power straight away. So taunt was definitely my play turn 1. And right here, I believe I went for the Screech because I just expected a Moonblast from this thing to come out, so I can force this thing out after I go for the Screech. Actually goes for a knockoff, which is actually huge because now my Tyranitar gets trapped by the Trio. So right here, after the Screech, and because my shell got knocked off, I kind of did expect a hard switch into Duck Trio, which is why I went for the, which is why, but like, I lived any hit, even if he was banded Duck Trio, so, and Stone Edge into Aerial Ace killed Duck Trio 100% anyways, and with Duck Trio gone, it frees up, my Gengar a lot as well, so, yeah, I decided to just go for the Stone Edge as he goes into his Meowstic and that takes absolutely zero. Right here, I wanted to taunt, but I potentially saw him baiting the taunt and going back into the trio, in which case he just beats my T-Tar, which is really not something I want this early in the game. T-Tar is really important in this game, which is why I went for the edge again, maybe hitting the Duck Trio. And I also got damage off on this Meowstic, which is huge, because I needed this thing dead to prevent it from going for practice or T-Ways against my Haxorus. So I decided to go into Togekiss here in case he wanted to go for go into Hard Dougie because Reflect is up, and I also covered a Light Screen play because this really can't do much to Togekiss, so he actually just goes straight for a T-Wave, and he goes for a Light Screen here as I go for the T-Wave expecting the Heatran. In hindsight, I should have Air Slash there. If I had Air Slash there, I had a really good chance of winning actually, but yeah. So he decides to go for the double Thunder Wave as I decided to go for a double Thunder Wave as well. I predicted the switch into Heatran, but this turn was actually not bad for me because I managed to stall out a turn of Screens. Screens is pretty annoying this game, so I do want to stall it out as fast as possible. I also wanted to get up Rocks as fast as possible in this scenario because I didn't want this Meowstic alive because Prankster T-Wave is just annoying as fuck. I decided to just go for T-Wave again because in case you want to switch. I'm stalling in terms of screens anyway, so it's good for me as it goes back into Dougie. So here I had Charlie and I didn't want to waste it, so I went hard into Registeel expecting the Rock type move as he goes for Rocks. So pretty unfortunate for me, I did not want Rocks up on my field, it's pretty annoying. So right here I went for the counter, expecting him to go for the Earthquake. He actually goes hard into Chansey, which is really interesting. So as he decided to go for a T-Wave, I just decided to set up my Rocks because I really need that Meowstic dead, and if I can get 25% off on Aerodactyl every time it comes in, and Heatran, that would actually, it would be really great. And the Rocks break a potential Sash on Dougie, which was what I originally expected. So here I decided to switch on to Tyranitar to cover the knockoff play because that was what I was expecting. He actually goes for a double T-Wave, so well played by him. I decided to go for the hard edge in case he goes into what was it? In case he went into, I'm not sure actually. Screech was definitely the play there. I don't know what I did. So yeah, I decided to go for the Screech on the not Chansey, Clefable, and then I just clicked Edge after that as I got off a huge chunk on Goodra. Now, expecting Focus Blast, I decided to go out into the Togekiss. Togekiss was pretty useless at this point since it's paralyzed and I don't have Defog, so like I tanked that hit pretty nicely as I just went for the Air Slash. So because I did not expect the Heatran switching at all. The reason I did not expect the Heatran switching is because I heavily doubted he wanted to let his Heatran get paralyzed because I expected to Scarf Heatran, which is why I went for the Air Slash, expecting something like the Trio or maybe even like the Clefable if he had Moonblast, which he actually didn't, so it's mono world by T-Tar. So here I decided to stay in because thing is, if you wanted to go for, I could have gone into Registeel, but like he could very well go for the Fire move right here, and the Fire move actually doesn't kill Togekiss. If he went for the Fire move and I T-Waved, I actually got off a power on this Heatran, which is huge. And if he went for Flash Cannon, I could just go into either Lopunny or Haxorus to revenge this thing. So right here, I go into Haxorus, I go for the hard DD as he pulls a hard switch into the Meowstic. So if I had EQ here, I would probably have won, honestly, because this Meowstic would have been dead. He was Scarf Dougie though, so like the matchup was still not clear. The reason I said I most likely would have won is because he wouldn't have practiced a T-Wave. So here, expecting either Reflect or T-Wave, I went back into I went to my Tyranitar. He goes into Goodra to attempt to sack it. The reason I went Registeel here is because I believe it covered yeah, I wanted to stall screens, so and get Sand Chip on Meowstic to put it in range of another turn of Rocks, because I really want that thing in range of Rocks. yeah, so the reason I double into Registeel is to stall screens and get the Meowstic in range of rocks through sand. So he actually goes into Goodra. I went back into Tyranitar scouting the Fire Blast, as he actually just goes hard for Draco, and that is terrible for me. I have to sack this Tyranitar. Nothing I can really do. And I go into Lopunny and just proceed to go for the Power Up Punch. As he reveals to be gooey, so yeah. Right now, the situation is looking pretty bleak. He goes hard into his Aerodactyl, as I decided to go into my Reggie, my dedicated check. I expected him to EQ here, but like I tanked any EQ hits anyways. So, he was definitely going Heatran here. EQ did like 30 to Reflect. But I decided to go for the Iron Head anyways, because the reason is, at this point, in my mind, the only chance for me to win is to set up on Heatran with the Haxorus. That was the only chance for me to win. And I did not want to kill this Heatran with EQ. I wanted to keep this alive so I can set up with it. Or else I just lose because I can't set up on anything else. So I went for the Iron Head. I wanted to preserve it to Aerodactyl, so I sacked Gengar. As he actually reveals to be Z Sunny Day. So this was huge. Actually, Z Sunny Day was actually great prep by him. I did not expect it at all. I expected Scarf. So at this point, the situation was looking extremely bleak. If he was modest, then I might have just lost. But he revealed to be timid, and Flash Cannon never kills Haxorus at this range. The max it does is 70 at timid, and the max it does with modest is at 77. So I was at 76. He goes for a Flash Cannon, brings me down to 6%. I go for DD. At this point, I was banking off the paralyzation on the Meowstic to go for the win. Because I expect the Sash Duck trio. So now he actually goes into Clefable, and I was like, oh, he's choking. He's choking so bad. And I went hard for the Z, so I expected him to go into something to bait my Z, potentially. But he revealed to be Magic Guard earlier after not taking rocks and sand damage. So I was like, +1 Iron Tail can still deal with this thing anyway. So I decided to go hard for the Z. The crit did not matter at all, as I take out the Chansey. And he goes into Duck Trio. So, the reason that he went to Duck Trio was probably, he was Sucker, which was what I was originally expecting. But if he was Sucker, Lopunny just cleaned up and got the kill, and then it was just 50-50 mind games from there. So I would definitely gladly take that risk, instead of having him, not being Sucker and me just dying. But it actually turns out he was actually Scarf the trio, so really interesting set. I probably wouldn't have brought that, but like it worked out for him, so can't really complain. I told you adamant Haxorus would bite me in the butt later in the game. So Lopunny tanked any hit from this thing, so I decided to go into that. And I pretty much just picked up the kill. I expected the Meowstic stack, but did not want him to go into Hard Aerodactyl in case if he tried to choke. So I went for the high jump kick, thankfully I land. And now I just pull into Registeel as he goes into his Aerodactyl. So this turn, it was actually huge. It was a 50-50. I could definitely Iron Head here, and as he goes to Trio, and he just wins, because he just traps my Registeel, and then Aerodactyl cleans Lopunny up. But I can double into Lopunny on the Trio, and then I'm pretty much confirmed win, considering if I don't get paralyzed on Registeel. So here, it was a 50-50. The reason I actually I went into Lopunny here because I did not expect Daniel to think far, if that makes sense. Because in his mind, I would, in his mind, he was probably thinking that, if I go the trio on his Iron Head, I trap this thing, I win. Even if he doubles into Lopunny, then my Aerodactyl has a potential chance to win as well, because my Registeel probably dies to 2 Earthquakes and something along those lines. So going to the trio was probably the safer play for him. At least I think it was in his opinion, because he didn't know I was shuffle on Registeel. So I decided to pull the hard into Lopunny as I get the prediction right, and I was really elated at this point of the game. I dragged the game out for so long because I really wanted to win this game. Week 1 of Hive, who doesn't want to win? So I was actually really hyped that I got that prediction right. So I calculated the damage, return kills Aerodactyl after rocks. He had to have one. He had to be only had 120 HP or 120 defense to be able to create Lopening. If he had more defense, then that means Lopening outsped. So return 100% kill Aerodactyl from there. And at this point, I was like, there was no way he could win unless he paralyzed hacks my Registeel. But then again, I take 2 EQs anyway because of the Shuttle. So I was like, yeah, I got this game in the bag. And then he goes for the Earthquake, and he crits. So that crit sucks a lot because I lose definitely now, as you can see. But that crit sucked a lot. I would have won definitely if there wasn't any power hacks. Without that crit, I felt like it was really Daniel's only play to go for the crit, and he got it. So I really can't complain because it is Pokemon and he couldn't really control it. But after playing a 1 hour 30 minutes game, I mean, it was mostly my fault, but like, it's still, the fatigue still applies to me. But I was pretty devastated seeing that I just got crit. The reason I lost was because of a crit. But I managed to, I don't really get salty often during games, so like I managed to get back up pretty often. But yeah, he just go for the 2 EQs and finishes my Registeel off, and I lose the game 2-0. So really unfortunate loss. I definitely could have played that better. Felt like I did not expect Scarf Dougie. Z Sunny's Day Tram was a great bring. I definitely could have won that game even without relying on the crit or the powers. So I definitely could have played that a little better. Overall, Daniel played great as well. The knockoff mono knockoff Clef set was actually really interesting considering it got walled by T-Tar. When he was spamming knockoff vs T-Tar, in my mind I was just like, either he is over-predicting every turn and expecting Gengar, or he has no Moonblast on Clefable, and it was really confusing for me. It was 3 AM when I played this game, and my mind was literally not functioning at all. We started at 2:30 or something and ended at 3. No, we started at 2 and it ended 2:14, and it ended at 3:30 AM, which is absolutely ridiculous. No Pokemon match should take that long, but we actually do end up losing in the end. Unfortunate. I really do hope that I can bring it back week 2 because in my leagues I tend to not do well if I lose my week 1. So hopefully we can get rid of that curse. But yeah, we lose to Daniel 2-0. Hopefully we can bring it back. Yeah, so that is it for my match with Daniel. He played really well. Don't get me wrong. I was on the fence about the Clefable set because like I wasn't sure if that was the right bring. I would definitely have bought Moonblast, but as for playing wise, he definitely played very well. Doing hard nail stick on my DD on the Haxorus, etc. Z Flames over. So overall, it was a very good game. There's really no point complaining about hacks because this game is played for fun anyways. So hopefully I don't get hacks in the next few weeks. Yep. Thank you very much for watching, and